real estate consultants here in the Sacramento metro area. I like saying metro.
Yeah.
Sac Metro. Just kidding. And this week, we're coming to you with a live video. We like to have fun, so we're just going to go with it.
You never know what's going to happen.
You don't.
With us,
You don't. Like. That's what these lives are supposed to be about. Just to connect with us. If you have any questions, you can hit us up. So if you're just joining us, just give us a thumbs up or a heart. Let us know you are here. But other than that, today we're going to talk about the three. Little one of those.
Don't. You could do it, not you.
Yeah, I just did it. So it's done.
It's done.
Today we're going to talk about something that I think is really trending, like for real. Pre-inspections are a big deal. So what am I talking about? Not necessarily pre-inspections as far as from the buying side, but pre-inspections for a home seller.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the process, like this video is for somebody that could be a year and a half from listing their house, or they could be ready to list their house in the next month or two. Pre-inspections is something that a lot of people are doing right now, even though we have super low inventory. We don't have a lot of houses available. We have a lot more demand than supply. Pre-inspections are something that is helping sellers even sell for more money. So what are pre-inspections? So before we kind of go into what are the three advantages, let me just give you the quick overview. Pre-inspections would be, hey, I'm going to list my house. You would then hire, real estate consultants to help you get your house ready to go on the market. Once you go on the market, you're going to have potential buyers looking at your house, ready to write offers on your house. Once they do, they're going to typically do their own inspections. So pre-inspections are before you even list your house. It's, the home inspection, the pest inspection, the pool inspection, the roof. We're going to go over those in a little bit more detail in this video and how much they cost. We're also going to tell you which inspections to get in order of importance. But I want to talk about the benefits first of getting pre-inspections. So start us off.
All right. Well, one of the main benefits or advantages of getting pre-inspections done on your home before you list is to avoid being blindsided. So a lot of times as the house, you're in contract, you go through the inspection process and you're like, I have how much work in dry rot or there's a leaky pipe or whatever it is that got uncovered in that inspection. Now you're in a time crunch. Now you're put in a position where you have to choose to fix it or give money up for that repair. So it really helps identifying any hidden issues that you were not aware of. It helps you evaluate how much it's going to cost. So that's nice because again, you're not blindsided by that. And then of course, with you knowing ahead of time what you're facing, that helps once you get to that process of negotiation, it all to be very smooth. So because you've already seen all the things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazy is no one likes moving. Like selling your house is difficult. And so one of our jobs as we come in is to make it as easy as possible. And the smoother it is for you, the easier it is on the other side because you're selling and moving somewhere.
Right.
And so having a smooth transaction process, smooth home selling process, knowing kind of what to expect up front is super helpful. So another advantage would be saving money on costly repairs. So when you think, if you know what's going on with your house, and I'm talking about stuff that you can't see with the naked eye, right? So sometimes, you're going to have a professional come out to look at the house in more detail, like the heater and the AC unit, right? They're going to, they might look at electrical. There are things that the normal homeowner might not be able to know the ins and outs of what needs to be taken care of or what's up to code. But if you can save money on those costly repairs, we're talking some of those you could do them on your own, like think DIY. Like if you have the ability to fix some of those things, you're going to have a list and be able to fix those things and save some money big time. Another thing is you can kind of plan effectively. It's kind of like what we call cost-effective planning. So you'll be able to know, all right, well, I'm going to take care of these, or I'm going to be able to take my time getting some bids or getting some professionals in there to save money, because we call it the 3X rule. So whenever a buyer goes into a house, they are going to say, wow, that repair costs me $1,000. But it's in their mind, if that repair costs the seller $1,000 and they see it as $3,000, they're going to multiply it by 3 every single time. So if it's 5,000, think 15,000. That's just the way it works. So sometimes you could save a lot of money by doing those things up front. And I know what you're thinking. A lot of sellers are like, well, why would I fix something, or why would I spend money if someone hasn't asked for it? And we're going to get to that here in a minute. But I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times sellers have saved money by making some of these repairs beforehand. And the reason why is because it helps you have negotiating power by saying, hey, my house is move-in ready. If we're able to market it in a way where we're saying, hey, this house is move-in ready, we've done X, Y, Z repairs, it really, really helps with the process big time. Yeah.
I'd even just focus on that part, because we have seen it on both ends, right? The listing side, but also the buyer side, when they see something and that what you're talking about, that, what do you call it? Multiply 3.
Yeah. 3X rule.
3X rule. I was saying the X, but I didn't know where it went. I was like, before the
Gone.
3, after the 3.
Released into the atmosphere.
It's just gone. But it's true. They'll see something that, and it also, I'd say, depends on how it's relayed to them. In that, oh my gosh, there's a leaky faucet. It could be leaking here. It could be creating mold. I mean, you don't know how it's going to be communicated in the home inspection.
Great
And so
point.
They're saying, oh, it's a $300 fix, but they're like, I might have to get into the drywall. There might be mold issues. There might be other pipes that leak. I think to be safe, we should ask for $1,000 because
and that's
that
one
way it
of
covers
10 asks, right?
That's what, that way it covers all the possibilities of what could happen. But if you looked at that and you said, hey, there's a $300 repair, I can get, my friend who's a handyman or contractor to come fix that. And they said is $200. The buyer will never know. You have your disclosures or whatnot, but they're not ever going to look at that the same way. Now it's oh, they actually take care of their home. They've done fix-ups. They've maintained their home. It gives them so much more comfort in moving forward. So
absolutely.
Just say that.
Yeah.
So the third advantage of doing pre-inspections would be using it as a marketing strategy, which is kind of what I was touching on a little bit, and the ability to bank more money. So when we were talking about it earlier, when you're going into it with pre-inspections, you're able to save that money, because once you're in the process and you realize, oh, they're asking for $8,000, that $8,000 could be going towards your next home. That $8,000 could be, utilized for yourself in different ways. And I'm just throwing that number out there. But if you're able to really look at that ahead of time and say, well, it's not actually 8, we can fix that for 3, you're saving yourself a lot of money. So one of those things is when you're using it as a marketing strategy, you are able to utilize that to build trust and transparency. And so again, we're getting to the buyer, we're communicating to the buyer that we maintain our home. We make sure that we are constantly looking at different things and updating or fixing the things that need to be fixed. And so the maintenance key, we see that a lot in descriptions well-maintained home. And it really does mean something, because you're not going to a home that's been
it's a fixer that needs tons of work.
Yeah. And it's not been what's that word? I can't think of it. It's not neglected. So neglected, where you're going wow, the weeds are hecka tall. You're looking at the stuff coming out of the gutters. They probably don't clean their gutters, which is going to lead to a lot of water. Could be water damage. I mean, the list goes on as you're buying a home, because this is one of the biggest investments of their life. So as a seller, you're trying to make sure that you kind of alleviate those things for them, because you want to sell your house. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about it this way: you're building that trust, as she's talking about. The more you disclose, especially if you've done repairs up front, the buyer is going to appreciate that. It's going to build trust, and it's probably going to build trust with multiple buyers, which means you'll probably have more, just from the condition of your home, being top notch, you're probably going to have more buyers interested in your house. So you're most likely going to have more buyers and multiple offers. Now, multiple offers will help you make more money just due to competition alone. And so if you have higher offers or multiple offers, you're going to have more of a bidding process, and that's going to help you make more money. So we could go on and on about this, but I think the question people have now, it's like, okay, so pre-inspection, so spending this money before I list my house, that's a good thing right now. But how much is it? Like, how much should I spend, right? Because then you think about the inspections, and you think about all the things that could come up. And then you're like, okay, well, then how much money am I going to spend on the repairs as well, right? So there's a budget aspect to it all.
Right.
And so we're going to kind of talk about what the pre-inspections you might want to look into getting. We don't know about your current house or your current situation enough to be able to say these are the inspections you need. And feel free to send us a direct message or reach out to us direct if you have questions about which pre-inspections to get on your particular house. But we're just going to kind of go over most that we're seeing in this area. And we'll start with, I would say, if you could do one inspection only, number one would be the home inspection. So home inspection is like a general, right, look at the condition of the house. So a home inspector is going to come in. They're going to run the dishwasher. They're going to look at the electrical panel. They're going to walk the roof. They're going to look for dry rot. They're going to look for a little bit of everything. Right. And so that kind of is a great place to start. And the cost of a home inspection in our area is going to be anywhere from $350 to $600, depending on the size of your home, depending on if there's crawl space or if it's on a concrete slab. There are lots of variables there, but that's going to be a general price of a home inspection. Some companies do offer a discount. We do know of some, so reach out to us for doing a pre-inspection. So before listing, you might be able to get a discount on your pre-inspection.
Yeah. Number two would be a pest inspection. So this is also one of number two most popular one that any buyer would be doing. And we would also recommend to our buyers that they do a pest inspection. So for you, it would be important to do a pest inspection. That is going to be looking at any dry rot issues, water damage anywhere on the exterior or interior of the home. And it's also looking at where wood bearing pests.
Yeah, wood destroying organisms. Or wood destroying organisms. So they're looking, termites, or they're going to be looking at, I think what she probably meant to say was like load bearing. They're going to be looking at the structural integrity of the house, basically, for the pest inspection.
Wood bearing? Did I say wood bearing? I meant wood eating.
Yeah, wood eating.
Boring?
That's true. That's wood boring beetles. We don't really see those in this area a whole lot. One time in a house built in 1920, I think. Wood boring beetles, raised foundation. Not common here. You don't have to worry about it. Next on the list would be a roof inspection. So roof inspections, you can get a local roof inspector, $50 to $100. They come out, they assess the roof. Now you're like, okay, well, if the home inspector was looking at the roof, why would I want an actual roof inspector? Well, home inspector is the general looking at everything, right? They're not a roofing contractor. So if you want an actual bid of how much repairs would cost or how much it would cost to replace your roof, want to get a roof inspection, $50 to $100. They'll come out, they'll walk the roof, and they will give you a detailed excuse me. Whoa, let me get some water. They'll give you a detailed report, usually with pictures and, hey, do these things. Here's how much it would cost. They do have something called a 2-year roof certification. That's kind of, it's one of those things. It's a way for them to make extra money. I kind of feel like if you're going to do repairs, you should probably stand by your work. So the 2-year roof certification, some people are all for it. I kind of go both ways. It's usually about $250 to certify the work completed. But a roof inspection is an important one to do, especially if you haven't had your roof checked yearly. Like we'll have our roofing contractor come and take a look at our roof probably every other year for us personally, just to make sure, broken tiles or slip tiles or anything. But composition shingle, you have the nails or the flashing that could be exposed. So it's something to look at.
So number 4, HVAC inspection. So this would be checking out your whole AC unit, your heating elements, all those things. And that ranges from free to $250.
Yeah, it just depends on your unit, the age, the area, stuff like that. But having your unit serviced regularly is a good indication of how much repairs could need to happen on a heater AC unit.
Yeah.
So next we have the pool inspection. So we have some local home inspection companies we've worked with for years that have a pool inspection option. You can get an actual pool guy out. He'll run the equipment. He'll look at it. He'll assess it. He'll go through it with you. That's if there's a pool on site, you almost have to spend the money on that so you can understand the pool equipment. That's about $100 to $250 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next would be a sewer scope inspection, which also some of our home inspectors do this as well as like an add-on type thing that we will also check your sewers. But that's important because we have seen where people have not done sewer scope inspections. And what happens is there may be this gorgeous oak tree that's in your front yard that now its root systems are growing into your sewer lines. And that can create a lot of issues.
There's a joke we have, like everybody wants an oak tree until they do a sewer scope inspection, because chances are there's going to be some root intrusion. There's going to be some dips in the line. Those are very costly, have to be dug up. We've had cases where we've negotiated $12,000 for sewer scope, which some agents don't even recommend that to be done for their buyers. But the last thing you want is for your toilet to back up and you not to be able to clean it out. It can be very costly. So that's something that if you have a lot of trees in the front yard, you should probably think about doing and getting ahead. If not, it's kind of taking a chance to see what happens.
I just realized I planted an oak tree in our front yard.
Yeah, it was a good job. Yeah. So number 7, let me
regret that decision.
Let me slow down and say you don't need to get all of these inspections. It just depends on your situation. I'm just giving you an idea of the most common inspections that we think are necessary depending on your situation. Should you have any questions, reach out to us. But number 7, foundation. So foundations are typically an issue in the greater Sacramento area, houses that are built in the early 1900s, the old Victorians, raised foundations. You have East Sac, you have a couple areas. And we don't typically have tons of foundational issues in our area as a whole. We have a lot of houses that are on a concrete slab, but the foundation, to get an engineer out there, to get someone to look at it, it could be $1,000, $2,000. It's not cheap. So the home inspector will go underneath the house and they'll at least let you know some of the indications that you might want to get it looked at, specific, cracks of a certain size in the foundation, or if the piers look a little bit off. There are some things to look for, but that's something that, is case by case. Yeah. And then lastly, the last 2, if you have land, so if you have acreage, right, outside of the city, rural area, you're probably going to have a well, and you're probably going to have septic. So those are 2 inspections that would be a good idea for you to do, that I would 100% of the time, recommend if someone has land to do those 2 inspections to make sure that, hey, the septic looks good, the tank, the lid, okay, and then well, like the running water, how many gallons per minute? That's always the question that we get when we list rural properties. How many gallons per minute is the water? How big is the tank?
And the well is a really big selling point, right? And so if all of a sudden you realize it's not working or something's going on with it, that's going to affect how much money you can bring in. So it is important to protect that, as it does add, interest and value to your home.
Yeah. And so looking at all these inspection guys, our job was not to overwhelm you. Our job was to, hey, here are some of the things you should be looking for. And, your trusted real estate professional should be able to help guide you on which ones to do. Because at the end of the day, doing these inspections, making some of the repairs, you are then able to package it all together and use it as a marketing strategy to maximize your profit when selling. Because this is what it's about. It's about you making the most money to move on to your next, and doing some of these inspections can help you do that, because it is going to put you in a situation where buyers are going to be lining up to purchase your house because they already know any potential issues that may come up with the inspections that you've done. So should you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help. I hope this video was of help to you.
Informative.
Yeah, an informative video.
Hey, just so you know, I had coffee this morning, if you can't tell.
She's better. If you saw her last week.
Last week was so much fun.
Struggle bus.
I was tired of no coffee.
Yeah, but she's
But
back.
it was a good one. It was interesting. We're talking about California people leaving California.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched that, you should go back and go watch that because that was fun.
Mm-hmm. And we'd love to hear from you guys. What would you like to hear about next week on our live? We're coming to you every week on Wednesday at 1 p.m. We're going to hit you with another live video. Again, Brandon and Vanessa Leon, your Sacramento metro area realtors. I don't know. I just want to say metro today. I don't know why. But hey, we'll see you next week. We'd love to hear from you.